Hello. Oh boy, so many windows open right now. Gotta make sure that that's still working. Friends, Romans, countrymen. Um, I have bitten off more than I can chew today. Uh, but I'm doing it for you. Welcome to Tutorial Tuesday. Yesterday I had mentioned that friend. Oh wait, can you hear me at all? I bet you can't. I bet you totally cannot hear me. Whoopsie days. Oh wait, no. It says you should. Oh boy. Okay. There's a quick way to fix this. I know how to fix this. Oh boy. Can you hear me at all? There we go. All right. Yes, you can hear me. I just checked the stream. Okay. So, welcome to Tutorial Tuesday. Yesterday I had mentioned that I did some watercolors with some friends last week and that it was a good time and that I might try to do that with you. Of course, I didn't plan that at all. So then I had to do that this morning. Such is life. Um, Welcome to Tutorial Tuesday. You can see in the bottom right hand corner I have queued up a video. I have tried to crop out the useless parts for you, but I can't do that entirely because I don't know how. I could if I tried harder, but if that's not a story of my life, I don't know what it is. I've got my coffee. I've got my paint surface here, and I've got my paints over here. You can't see them, but they're there. You just have to trust me. Look, I can make shadow puppets. And we're gonna at least start with this video. It's only 8 minutes long, but I know that I'm gonna pause it like a billion times. So let's get started. I skipped ahead to where I skipped past where she talks about the materials and her setup because I already have my materials and I already have my setup. Um, and if you want to follow it along at home, I recommend you do not. So that is my suggestion. We're gonna start out. Oh wait, I didn't skip. There we go.
And the first thing that I do is I go in and I pre-wet the paper, just add some plain water all over the side where the night sky is going to be, because we are going to be using the wet on wet technique, and that means that we need to pre-wet the paper so that our colours nicely bleed into each other. And so once I've done that, I go in and start adding some pinks, some purples and blues to really give a lot of
This is
different
the
colours
night
to this night
sky.
sky look. And I try to keep the lighter colours in the middle and have the darker colours around the outside. And just go in and drop in these colours. I'm even adding some oranges in there. And the colours will really nicely bleed into each other because you've got that pre-wet surface. So the colours can move and flow and give.
Okay, so she's adding a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna just add some more water to my paper because I was a little bit slower. Now, I normally, with watercolor, you want to tape your watercolor to something so that it doesn't, when it warps, it doesn't warp so badly that that you can't control where the paint is going. But I didn't do that this time, mostly because by the time I got around to actually doing a setup, ooh, I was just running late. So she started with like pinks and stuff. Um, do I even have? I don't have like a straight up pink. I have white and I have um like red, so I could make pink. I have like magenta that I could lighten and make pink with. Um, oh geez, that's the that's the first thing. I almost put my brush into my coffee. So let's move the coffee to the other side of the table from the paint water. Knew that was going to happen. That was close. All right. So she's got pinks and oranges and stuff. We'll just boop, 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 boop. This is how it works, right? Boop, 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 boop. And she wanted like the light sides in the middle and the dark sides on the outside. I should have been paying more attention. What a shocking thing that I should have been paying more attention. It's really that I wasn't paying enough attention. She had some oranges in there. I have an orange here. I also have some paint, like watercolor stuff. Oh my goodness, left over from the watercolors that I did with my friends. So I'm already a little concerned. Yeah, I'm already concerned about how this is going. It's fine. I mean, it probably doesn't help that I have a fan going, a ceiling fan going, but it's Texas, so I can't not have a ceiling fan going. Sorry about it. Um, she like had a cool thing down here. Um, some pink. I'm like really phoning this in. I hope my sunset doesn't care. Um, Boop, 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 boop. This doesn't really look pink anymore. What happened? Oh, I bet I mixed it with the orange. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. Purple. It's really important. I've been to artist school, and it's really important that you make sound effects while you make your art. Otherwise, it won't turn out. That's just science. So, I prefer sort of like unknown science type noises because I think it brings an element of like sort of structure to what would otherwise be a completely unstructured creative activity. So sounds like a computer to me. So that's really important. So she's filled her whole like shebang. Um, I got nothing, guys. I got nothing. This is not remotely pink. Where did the see like I don't know. Pink is just sort of something that happens in watercolor because it's like a light sort of experience anyway. I did not act fast enough, so mine are sort of like pooling. All right, we'll go with that. What's
This
next?
really nice bled out look. So I'm starting with the pink, adding the pinks, and then adding some more darker tones to the
Oh my
outside.
goodness.
The next
Okay. Wow. All right. So she's going for it, guys. I'm gonna use a bigger brush um because she's clearly not pulling any punches on this one, but she's also not doing this in real time, which I think is not fair. Um, She, I don't know if you noticed it, but she did a little bit of a uh, stop motion sort of speed up thing there, which means that my experience is going to look different than hers, and I think that's not fair. And I just want you guys to know I want to register my complaint with the council. Um, yeah, I just want you to know. Oh gosh. Okay. So we need more pinks and we need more of pretty much everything and we need a lot more water because this is called watercolor, not desert color. Not and this is a technique I call crying over your love letters. Or some you got to come up with some sort of like melodramatic way to describe dropping water onto a canvas because it definitely reminds me of like all the times I would be I don't know if it's like happened in movies or if I've just like imagined it in movies where it's like someone is crying while they're writing a letter and somehow the water does not drip down their face like normal tears do, but instead it drips onto the paper that they're Oh, it happens in Harry Potter. Um they talk about they get a letter from Hagrid and he um is crying while he's writing it, and it's either about Norbert or like Buckbeak. It's one of the earlier ones, not because it's not super serious. Uh, let's see, how do I make this more pink? I don't. This is like very dark, and they like have it much lighter down here, so I don't really know. Um, and then an orange. Oh, I forgot again. Okay, so This is just gonna take a lot of time just because of the sheer amount of space. I should have like halved the size of this canvas, honestly. And it's not canvas, it's paper, but you know what I mean. You feel me. She's not here to judge me. Only God can judge me. And you, because you're watching inexplicably. See, this is what um, taping the paper down helps. It helps control the warp a little bit better. So now I'm struggling with where exactly the water is pooling. Cool.
Next thing
So
that I'm doing is I'm using some table salt to actually add a really cool effect to
what?
this night sky, and I'm mainly targeting that salt towards the middle of the painting. So
I
just sprinkle a
I
very
gotta
small
say she
amount
didn't
in the
mention
middle of
table
the
salt.
painting, and then completely let that first layer dry. Once it is dry, it's time to go and
Oh
add
my
some more
gosh, that's
layers, and as you can
so
see, that salt has
cool.
added a really nice effect to the painting, but I don't want it to be that harsh, so I go in, add more layers. I also want to darken up and give it that really dark night.
That's so cool. Wow, I was thinking like, oh, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna bother to go get table salt, but like, what? That looks so cool. So I am gonna go bother to do it. But once again, her her colors are way darker than mine. And she also skipped ahead again. What a loser. That's mean. She's not a loser. She's lovely. I'm lashing out of my own frustration, and that's sort of my thing. I've got to deal with that. She doesn't have to deal with my frustrations and my lashing out. That's a new color I added. It's called the Tears of My Enemies. Part of Pantone's special 2020 line, built for Revolution. Um, I don't know. I just decided to go darker. Oh, you know what I haven't been doing? I haven't been checking to see if you can still even see. Okay, you can. Good, good, good. Um, yeah, because I am using this like app to turn my phone into a webcam for for the purpose of this like being able to you can see both my face and the painting. And I sometimes my phone doesn't like that app super much. So, um, okay. Still just not really feel that looks just like brown. Oh, you can't even see that. Maybe I can move this for you since I'm working on this side currently. Now it looks backwards to you, I'm pretty sure. Um, like it looks like I'm using my left hand, and I didn't know that, and I apologize. But it does look right side up, which is just bonkers to me. Why, you know, sometimes these things happen and we don't ask questions and we just sort of go with it. That looks like a puke brown color, this one right here. Well, it looks nicer in the camera, so that's nice. Um, all right. So, really wishing I had bothered to, oh, dogs are gonna bark here in a second. Really wishing I had bothered to tape the thing down. But that is how we learn. I'm sorry my face keeps going out of frame, but uh, worse things have happened, so we'll get over it together. Oh, this is gonna take forever. I think honestly, I was gonna do all three, because she said 8 minutes. She lied. This is not, like, she fast forwarded and everything. Um, she time traveled in her video, and I can't do that. I am not. I'm not a witch. I'm nothing you've heard. I'm you, not a witch. None of us is perfect, but none of us can be happy with what we see all around us. Politicians with expending, trading favors and backroom deals is the way to stay in office, stay in office. Politicians, stay in office. I'll go to Washington, do what you do. Do. I'm Christine O'Donnell, not a politician and not a witch. I'm Christine O'Donnell. I'm you. It also looks darker on. I mean, you guys are probably like, what are you complaining about, Mary? Because uh, this is like, it looks perfectly, looks perfectly fine to you guys, and I just buggered up a little bit the pink, but that's okay. Um, Tears of My Enemies. Here we go. See? Now that song is stuck in my head. For reference, it's a Shmo Yoho auto tune song. If you Google Shmo Yoho, no, Shmo Yoho, I'm not a witch, then you'll see the whole thing. It's from, what is that gotta be now? 2012? 13? It's sometime shortly after the 2012 presidential election. So 2014 is probably what it was. Because it was someone running in the midterms that year. I'm fairly certain. That That's called the blood of my enemies. Whoops. All right. Oh, I'm not on the right.
Sky feel to it. At the moment it's a bit light, so I go in, pre-wet the surface again because we do want our colours still to bleed into each other, and I build up some more pinks and purples and some darker tones at the top and around the sides of our sky. I then let it dry again, and then I do the same thing, let it dry, add another layer of water to pre-wet the surface, and then drop in even more dark intense colours. I'm mixing some black with some Payne's Grey, which is a darker blue grey, and some purple to give a really nice intense look. Now that I'm happy with those colours and the shadows in our sky, I want to go in with the gouache, and I use the gouache for two different reasons. Firstly, I'm going to use it to add little highlights to the galaxy look, and also I'm going to use it to add loads of stars. And now when I'm painting the stars, I get a flat, I'm using a water brush for this, a flat water brush, and I just load that up with gouache, and then I use my finger to like spray that paint onto the paper, and it's really cool because it gives really tiny stars and also some bigger little splodges as well, so you get a nice variety in sizes of the stars. So this is great to add loads and loads of stars very quickly to your galaxy sky. And once you've done that, let everything completely dry again, and the final thing that I want to do is just go in with some black paint and add some really nice tree silhouettes just to bring this all together. First thing I do is I go in with the brush and just mark in where the tree's gonna go, that line for the middle of the tree, and then I go in sideways with the brush and just add some horizontal lines to add the branches and leaves to the painting. And that is it for our first one. Now let's move on to painting number 2, which is the sunset. And the first thing that I do is pre-wet the paper again, and then I start off by doing the sunset part by adding yellows, oranges and red tones in there. I'm not adding any paint to where the sun is because I want that to be the brightest area. And then I move on and add some blue tones for the water and the ripples, as well as some yellows for the reflection in the water. And I also add the silhouette between the sunset and the water.
Okay. She's going so fast. No wonder it's only 8 minutes. Okay, so she starts wetting the whole canvas. Ooh, I should have cleaned my water. Oopsies. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. It's totally fine. So you can see what is the word? I taped down my thing now, and hopefully that helps it to dry a little bit more. Actually, you know what I'm also going to do? I'm going to get the salt because I think the salt is going to help with the pooling. Also, so, would help this piece of towel that I have. See again. See, that's my very, very important um, thing that I say. Salt. My dogs are very confused. Okay, so yeah, we are just gonna focus on. I mean, I'll do this other one because I need to take some time for this to dry. Um, we are just gonna focus on doing this one painting though because time's a wasting. Um, where did I put that brush? Okay, there it is. Yep, that song is stuck in my head. Doop 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 doop. I never really saw what she did with the salt once she had put it into the. I'm sort of concerned about how do I get the salt off the paper? Do I just wipe it off the paper, or is that going to be weird? Do I dab it off the paper, or is that not going to be effective? So many questions. So many questions. Okay, now I've gotten this wet enough to the point where my ceiling fan is not going to thwart my watercolor efforts. It does look slightly pink, but that is just how we're going to have to deal with this right now. And then we go in and we do what she did. Blah, 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 and we leave a spot for the sun. The spot for the sun is left. Doop doop doo. Boop 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 boop. Boop 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 boop. Yeah, that's legit. Um, yeah, it's way more color than needed to be on there. Oh, haha, idea. Blah 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 blah. That's how that works. You gotta make the blop sounds. Blah 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 blah. Just like that. Cool. All right. That's effective. All right. Next, she made like blue colors for the water, I guess. So I'm gonna do that too, I guess. I don't know. Why not? Do the crying on my love letters in order to sort of revamp this whole water situation. I like to really use this tape thing that they've got set up, uh, like use it to my advantage, um, and just like paint along the tape because then it really pops out. Um, and that's also one of the few places, since I didn't tape this down, it's one of the few places I can actually predict what's going to happen with it. So, yeah. Okay. That looks like a thing. Oh no! My sea is going into my sky! It's the apocalypse! Okay. Come on, pull yourself together, laddie. Okay, so now we've got to figure out this salt situation. Um, nope. See, that was what I was afraid of. It's just sort of scraping. How did she do it? How did she do it? Did she paint over it once it was on there? I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand. But we're coming to the point where I'm gonna have to just like stop doing this because I don't have time. Um, and now I'm just painting with salt. Is that called salting instead of painting? I don't know. I mean, it gives it an interesting texture, and it does make everything brown. So there's that sort of fun uh, concept there. I mean, to be fair, aside from the stars, I've never seen a night sky that looked like the ones that's in her painting. I mean, obviously, it's like backwards right now, but like not backwards. Back on the video right now as you're looking at it, it is back before she finished it. But like, I've never seen a night sky that looked that light and purpley. That's called a twilight sky. Get your times of day right. So I'm just gonna do this. Yeah. I don't know, guys. I do not know what to do with this. Um, I mean, it doesn't look like what I expected it to, which is basically just par for the course with me doing any art. I usually have to just sort of like, um, oh no, my sea is bleeding into my sky again. It looks like this sea is steaming, which is sort of funny. Um, there we go, I guess. All right, I don't know. I don't know. Um, the thing is, this isn't gonna dry now. So let's see what the third one is. So she goes through all of them individually, or all of them at once, which is wild.
landscape. And again, pre-wet the paper. Then I'm going in with just some very light purple tones and a bit of grey on my brush, starting off very light so you can hardly see it, because a snowy landscape, the one I painted, you know, there's not really dark intense colours. It's very soft, very pale. So I wanted to build it up slowly. I started with lighter purples and then built up the more intense purples towards the edges. And I finally went in and I sprinkled a lot of salt over this piece, because salt is great with watercolours for giving that snowy effect. It's so good for that. So I just went in and I sprinkled some salt, focusing mainly in the middle again where I wanted the flurry of snow to be, and I completely let that dry. Don't use any heat tool when you're using salt, because you want to give the salt time to actually create the effect. And now I'm going to go in and I'm actually going to add some tree silhouettes.
But like,
I wanted
what
a nice
happens
tree
to
in the
the
background,
salt?
and because that looks more distant, I
Does
didn't
it
want it
just
to be as
dissolve?
dark. So I
I mean,
mixed
I
in more
understand it's
purple
water
tones
soluble,
instead of
but
just
like...
doing it black. And I just loosely painted the branches, starting with the biggest part of the trunk and then branching out into the individual branches, and then even thinner branches coming off of the main branches. And for the one in the front, I used black paint, and I did the same process, did the thicker branches and then thin ones coming off them. I also used fine liners to add some really detailed branches as well. And now I want to move on to adding the bushes. I added some little bushes by the tree just to make it more interesting, using some purple and black. And I finally went and I topped the trees with some gouache. And I also splattered the gouache so that we have some really nice little snow droplets and give it a really nice like sparkly effect. And I also used the gouache to finally add some little tall bits of grass, bit of snowy grass in the front as well, again to make it more interesting. So those are my 3 landscape paintings, which are great to have a go at if you are a beginner. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this where I paint different types of things and give little tutorials and like beginner things that you can try. If you do want to see the real-time versions of each of these paintings, then they are available on my Patreon, as well as over 200 real-time tutorials, which you can get for just a small amount per month. I'll leave a link in the description so you can check that out. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new around here for more tips and tutorial videos. But that is it from me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye everybody.
Right.
A really nice adding the pinks and then adding some more darker tones to the outside. The next thing that I'm doing is I'm using some table salt to actually add a really cool effect to this night sky. And I'm mainly targeting that salt towards the middle of the painting. So just sprinkle a very small amount in the middle of the painting, and then completely let that first layer dry. Once it is dry, it's time to go and add some more layers. And as you can see, that salt has added a really nice effect to the painting, but I don't want it to be that harsh. So I go in, add more layers. I also want to darken up and give it that really dark night sky feel to it. At the moment it's a bit light, so I go in, pre-wet the surface again, because we do want our colours still to bleed into each other, and I build up some more pinks and purples and some darker tones at the top and around the sides of our sky. I then let it dry again, and then I do the same thing, let it dry, add another layer of water to pre-wet the surface, and then drop in even more dark intense colours. I'm mixing some black with some Payne's Grey, which is a darker blue grey, and some purple to give a really nice intense look. Now that I'm happy with those colours and the shadows in our sky, I want to go in with the gouache, and I use the gouache for 2 different reasons. Firstly, I'm going to use it to add little highlights to the galaxy look, and also I'm going to use it to add loads of stars. And now when I'm painting the stars, I get a flat, I'm using a water brush for this, a flat water brush, and I just load that up with gouache, and then I use my finger to like spray that paint onto the paper, and it's really cool because it gives really tiny stars and also some bigger little splodges as well, so you get a nice variety in sizes of the stars. So this is great to add loads and loads of stars very quickly to your galaxy sky.
I always really like the way that watercolors
let everything
look,
completely dry again, and the final thing that I want to
do not like. I struggle a lot with the process of watercolors, because they're more complicated than acrylics. I thought briefly about doing an acrylic tutorial, but then I was like, no, my watercolors are already out, and it's so much easier to clean up after watercolors because the paint can just dry. And it doesn't matter. Cool. I don't know what I'm doing anymore because I don't know that this is gonna look like snowy trees. Do 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 do. And that's fine. Sometimes you just do things and it doesn't turn out the way you expected them to. And that's black, that's not gray. Do 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 do. I'm gonna cry on my love letters some more. A little bit more, with a little bit more direction than just dropping them. Because once again, I am struggling with the fact that I did not tape this down. I have regrets. Okay, so I'm looking over here, and at least the sky over here is um, dry. So I'm gonna come back to this. See, that's what the problem is with the pooling, um, because the pooling will keep things from drying for much longer than they would normally take. Um, I'm like just not even gonna watch her video anymore because I'm going way off book. Wow, that looks very white. On my paper, it does not look nearly that white. What have I done? So I'm gonna add some oranges up here. That's how the sky works, right? And I'm gonna take this pink that I've so carefully crafted from the other side, and I'm gonna recraft it because I ran out of the actual pinkness. I'm gonna take this pink and I'm gonna add it down here. Boop, 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 boop. That's how skies work. I know what I'm doing. Look at that. That if that doesn't look like the apocalypse is coming, I don't know what does. Um, so these are never gonna dry. So I'm just gonna call it. Um, these are your three. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, I minimized it. Oh boy, I lost it. There we go. Okay. These are your three watercolor paintings. Um, that you can do on your own. This is a over here. This is a polar bear in a snowstorm. Um, it's sort of a gray snowstorm because of all the coal dust in the air, I guess. This is your apocalypse setting where the the sky no longer looks like a sky and the sea is sort of like running into the sky because oh, this is 2020. And then this is your salt lick that's on fire. So three easy landscapes that you can do as a beginner. I guarantee you can do them. And you know, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Smash that like and subscribe button. My coffee. And I don't know. I'm gonna try this one again. But but I do want to show you my tripod setup for my phone camera because it is pretty excellent. I use chopsticks to slide the camera right in there. I am a genius. So, thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. The sky is on fire.